Thank you for being here. I know how busy everybody's schedule is. So I'm going to start by just sharing my screen. Um, I do have a slideshow. Let's see. There we go. That should be good. So I want to start by saying, if I'm talking about something and you have a question, feel free to interrupt me. We're a pretty small group. So if you want to unmute or if you want to drop it in the chat, definitely feel free to do so. And for those of you who might be watching this on a recording, which I suspect a lot of us might be because I know how busy everyone's schedule is, my contact information will be at the end of the slideshow. And please do feel free to reach out to me if you have questions following watching the presentation, because unfortunately we can't address every single thing in just a brief presentation. But it's nice to see you all. I see a couple more people joining, and we're just going to get started. So my name is Darby Malvey. I am the Programming and Outreach Manager at LibraryLinkNJ, the New Jersey Library Cooperative. And I'm really happy to be here with you all today. So what is LibraryLinkNJ? That's the number one question that we get from a lot of people. I know that it can be confusing because there are so many statewide organizations serving libraries. For a smallish state, we certainly have a lot of state organizations. LibraryLinkNJ is the state library cooperative, which means that we are an independent nonprofit multi-type library organization. What sort of sets us apart from a lot of the other groups like NJALA and NJLA and JSOL, all those groups, is that we're not a dues-based organization. LibraryLink exists with a grant from the state library, right? And every library in the state of New Jersey is essentially automatically a member of LibraryLinkNJ. Our services are available to all libraries of all types across the state and everyone who works in those libraries. So that does include the professional degreed library staff, our library assistants, our pages, clerks, tech staff, maintenance staff, you name it. Anyone who works in a library is employed in a library of any type, public, academic, school, special libraries. All of those folks can take advantage of our services. And typically our services are free of charge. So you'll never be asked to pay dues or anything like that to take advantage of LibraryLink services. There are very few things that we offer, training courses and things like that, that come with a fee to attend, but typically we try to make everything free. And in order to create your account on our website, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and to access the things that we have available to you, there's no payment required. All you need is a work email address, so we can verify that you do work in a library. So that's who we are, and what we offer is essentially a lot of different services for libraries around the state. The one that we are mostly known for is delivery, but also professional development and training and things like that. My team, the continuing education team, we manage all of the professional development, continuing education, and sort of outreach and marketing initiatives. So that's where my area of expertise is, but I'm going to try to cover everything that LibraryLink offers in a quick amount of time. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to interrupt me and just let me know if there's something specific I can answer for you. So this is the continuing education team. Many people are surprised to learn that we are a very small group here. Yes, we are the statewide library cooperative. We serve the whole state and every library in it, but realistically, this is our continuing education team. We have 3 people in the office and we have an executive director, and that's the whole organization. So if it seems like we're taking a minute to get back to you or something, I do apologize. We are pretty tiny for all the things that we have going on. So these are the folks that you would most likely reach out to. So I am the Programming and Outreach Manager. John runs our online learning space, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And Stephanie, who you may have seen if you've done any of our webinars, does a lot of our programming and events. So this is us. We all come from different backgrounds, but all come working from libraries. And now we're here at LibraryLink to serve you, which is pretty cool. We like it. If you want, in the chat, you can let me know who you are, or you can even unmute since we are such a small group if you want, and let me know who you are. And in particular, I'd like to know if there's anything in specific that you're hoping to learn from this session, if there was something specific you wanted to find out about, if there's a particular reason why you wanted to come, or maybe, you're just interested in finding out more. So I'll give you a second in case you do wanna say hi and let me know. And if not, then we'll move on. Maybe you just want to hear the general information, which would be fine. Hi, Teresa. Always nice to see you, Teresa. Okay, all right. So all right. So I'm gonna talk for a little bit about some of the things that we offer. These are not the only things that we offer. They're just the things that we are, that I think might be most relevant to you all. The main thing that everyone seems to know about LibraryLink is that, yes, we are in charge of delivery. So if your library is on the statewide delivery service, or if your consortium is on the statewide delivery service, we handle delivery. What's sometimes confusing to folks is that we don't handle interlibrary loan requests. So when you go on that, if any of you are handling sort of interlibrary loan or delivery at your library and you go on that Jersey Cat to put your request in, that's handled by the state library, which is not us. And then once that all gets processed and the books have to be physically picked up and taken elsewhere, the delivery process, we handle the contract for that. So I always tell people it's a little bit like DoorDash, right? We're just picking up your order and dropping it off at the other library. So if you are having trouble with your delivery for any reason, if you're the person, and I know in many libraries, it is library assistants who are dealing with those interlibrary loan requests and delivery and unpacking it and packing it and all those things. If you're having any trouble with it, please reach out to us. It's not my specific team that handles it. It's our office team, but I'd be more than happy to put you in touch with the person that you need to talk to. Also, if you're not on delivery and you want to be, or if you want to add days or change things around, definitely reach out to us and our team can help you make sure that you're getting the most out of the delivery service. This is sort of the number one thing that folks ask us about, and I understand why, because it is a huge service. This is not something that I work on though. What I work on is more outreach and continuing education. So another thing that we offer, Deborah and I were talking about this a little bit earlier, grants and awards, and also training subsidies. So we do have some funding available for different purposes. Occasionally we will do grants. Our most recent grant was the Level Up Your Library grant. Some of you may have seen that. Either your libraries maybe got it or nearby libraries to you got it. Before that, we did a grant called Ready for Anything. That was a resiliency grant to help libraries get ready for whatever future challenges coming our way, right? COVID, hurricanes, who knows? So occasionally we will offer grant programs, and libraries can apply. We have a grant committee that reads them. And then typically they're small, comparatively small grants, usually around $5,000, to sort of run a project of your choosing based on a specific theme. We don't have any grant opportunities available right now. We are in the middle of, our libraries that got the Level Up Your Library grant are about halfway through their projects. So we're still in the middle of that one. The other thing we offer in terms of funding is a training subsidy. This is a great opportunity for your library if you need to do like a professional development day, or if there's a specific skill that your staff or certain members of your staff would like to get trained on. The way it works is that if your library brings in a speaker or presenter to talk to your staff about a specific professional development topic or training topic, we will reimburse you up to $500 for the cost of that speaker, presenter, professional development day. So, in particular, if you have a large staff, or if you're in a big county system or something like that, and you have just a small group of folks who maybe want to get trained on a specific thing or want to go through a training on a specific thing, you only need to have at least 2 people attend the training in order for us to do the reimbursement. So if you wanted to get just your CERC staff together, or just your children youth services staff together or something to do a specific training that maybe the library doesn't want to pay for, the way they would pay for a whole staff development day, they'd still have to pay for it up front, but we would be able to reimburse them up to $500. It's a fairly simple process. There's a form on our website that you can click on to submit your application for something like this. And then once you host the training and pay for it, you submit another fairly simple Google form to just tell us how it went, that it happened, certify that it happened, and then we can send the check to reimburse you. So that just started again because we're on a fiscal year. Our year started in July. So, there's plenty of money left for this year. So this would be a good year, a good time to think about it and whether there might be some kind of training or PD that you want to do, local to your library. So that's some of the funding stuff we offer. Another big thing that we offer is webinars and in-person events. So as I mentioned at the beginning, remember, all of this stuff is available to anyone who works in a library in the state of New Jersey. So none of the things that I'm talking about will be exclusive, to just librarians with the degree, or to just library assistants, or to just directors. All of this stuff is available to everyone. So if it's something that's of interest to you or relevant to your job, all we want to know is, do you work at the library? And if you do, then you should join us. So webinars that we offer, sometimes we do what we call like one-off webinars, which might just be, a one-time topic on something that we think is relevant, or important in that moment. Other things repeat. So for instance, our mental health first aid training is something that we partner with Hackensack Health to do just about every other month. We do an adult one and then a youth services one, an adult one and then a youth services one. And they're pretty much happening on a consistent basis. Skill sharing conversations are an ongoing webinar series that we offer, that's basically based around a specific library topic or skill. So for example, the next one that's coming up is about starting or managing board game collections. So if you've been thinking, oh, it would be interesting to circulate board games or have board games in the library, you can come to that, and it's basically a conversation, an opportunity to ask questions, talk, and get information from folks who do already have board game collections, right? Jessica in the chat says, I took the signing basics, great training. Yeah, the signing basics, I have it on another slide because I wanted to give you guys the date. So the signing basics is a sign language course for learning basic sign language skills to communicate with patrons who might come in, who need to sign. So it's like basic library type signs. We're getting great feedback about it. The only issue is that the instructors will only take 15 people per session. So it fills up super fast, but we do have one scheduled for October. It's 3 days. You have to commit to do all 3 days, but I think it's about an hour and a half course, for 3 days. And it is phenomenal. And the signups for the October course are going to open on September 6th. So if you want to do it, you should mark your calendar for September 6th and log on in the morning and get yourself signed up, because it fills up super, super fast, but it is a good one. And we are going to continue. This is another one that we will continue. We've scheduled as many dates in 2024 as we can possibly get from the signing basics folks who are the experts. Obviously, we don't try to teach anything ourselves that we're not an expert in, and sign language, no one here at LibraryLink knows sign language like that. So we bring in experts to do that. So if you don't get in for October, there will be other chances. Maybe we could use the training subsidy. Yeah, that is definitely something that you could have someone come and do, Teresa. Now the subsidy is only up to $500, so it would depend if you could find someone who would be able to do it for that amount, or whether your library might be willing to kick in a little bit of extra, and we would cover up to 500. But yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing that you could certainly use it for. And I know that it seems like more and more people are telling us, we have patrons coming in on the regular who are signing, and we just don't know, you don't need to become fluent in ASL necessarily, but you need to kind of know the basics, right? So these are the kind of webinars we offer. All of the stuff I just mentioned is totally free of charge. So we try our best to make everything as accessible as possible, because we know that even a small fee can sometimes be the difference between your director saying yes or no, right? And we certainly don't want you to have to be paying out of your pocket, even if it's a small amount. We do have some in-person events too. We, like most people, during the height of COVID, we really didn't do anything in person. All of our stuff switched to a virtual format. And like most people, we're keeping a lot of things in a virtual format, because we're finding that, especially statewide, right? It just makes a lot more sense for people to be able to kind of log on from their libraries or from home and watch a webinar, do something online. So we're trying to keep things as accessible as possible. But we do know that also people, of course, sometimes you just want to gather, you want to get out of your library, or you want to get together with your colleagues. There's a different level of networking, right, and of learning that happens there. And some things just don't lend themselves to a virtual option. So a few things that we do have coming up this year for in-person events, we will be doing another craft show and share. So if anybody went to our previous craft show and shares, this is essentially show and tell for librarians or library staff who do crafting. So in the fall, we will be doing an adult craft show and share so that's for folks who do adult programming in their libraries. You come, you show off sort of your favorite craft that you've done, bring a sample of it, show it to everyone, and everybody takes turns doing that. And then everybody also brings, or anybody who has it brings their leftover craft materials that are kind of hanging around their library, because we know we're all hoarders, and everybody has a closet full of craft supplies that somebody won't let them throw away. So we bring the extras, and then we have like a swap shop, and everybody kind of goes home with new to them stuff so they can do new crafts in their libraries. And it's an opportunity to get rid of some of that stuff that you might not end up using, and kind of keep it out of a landfill. So that's a super fun event. That will be November 28th at the Voorhees branch of the Camden County Library System. So we're going a little bit south this time with it. Last time we had it in Woodbridge, so we went a little south this time. And there will be a youth services version of that in the spring as well. So you can keep your eye out for that. We also do a Super Library Supervisors course. I know Deborah took it online. We do it, currently we're doing it in person in the fall and online in the spring. This is one of the few things that does have restrictions on it. So in this case, you would need to be currently supervising staff in your library in order to participate. It's for current supervisors. And this is a 4-day training course on supervisory skills, right? Because we know what happens in libraries is you do a really good job and they promote you to be a supervisor, but you've never been trained to be a supervisor or a manager or anything, right? And so this is things like doing staff evaluations, having difficult conversations, helping your team set goals, understanding sort of paid leave and all those kinds of things. It's all that kind of stuff. And then in March, we don't have a date yet, but we will be doing our mega meetup again, which is an initiative of LibraryLinkNJ. I'll talk about that in a couple minutes too. And this is more of like a networking opportunity to get together with other staff and just have a day to talk in person and get together, and we'll do some panel discussions and things like that. So we do have in-person events too, and we're always adding more as we kind of keep our eye on what's going on statewide and with COVID and all the other things, right? Something else we offer is the LibraryLinkNJ initiative. So if you are not familiar with LibraryLinkNJ, it is an initiative that it was originally a joint venture between LibraryLinkNJ, the state library, and the New Jersey Library Association, but in recent years, LibraryLink has just kind of taken it over. And how it works is there are kind of two facets to it. There's online meetups, which if you follow any of our sort of marketing, you may have seen us announcing the meetups a lot. Meetups are just what they sound like. You jump on Zoom. There's usually like a broad topic, and then everybody just kind of talks. It's just a chance to get together and ask questions or vent or commiserate or just have an opportunity to talk with people who are like-minded on a specific topic, and get advice or get support. So they're really a lot of fun. They can be super helpful, and we typically have each topic about once a month, and I'll towards the end of this presentation, you'll see all the ones that are scheduled for September, in case there are any want to attend. The other sort of big piece of LibraryLinkNJ is the Mentors Directory, which is on our website. You are encouraged to join the Mentors Directory if you feel so inclined. It is essentially an online directory of folks who have created a profile and said, I'm willing to be a mentor. You put in your information about where you work, maybe what your work experience has been in the past, things that you feel that you could help someone learn about, someone contacted me to ask to be mentored. Oh, wow, Teresa, that's great. So you're in the directory then? Yeah. So that's exactly how it works. You put yourself in the directory and you say, here's the things that I know about, or here's the things I have experience with. And there's a contact button on there. And then someone can go on the directory and say, oh, I'm really struggling with X thing, or I'd really like to talk to somebody who has experience with youth services or who has experience with, collection audits or whatever the thing might be. And they could reach out, and it's sort of an informal, as Teresa said, they did it for a few months via Zoom, right? It doesn't have to be this like lifelong commitment to being someone's mentor. It's almost sort of more of a short-term informal kind of mentoring opportunity. So you are welcome to both enter yourself into the directory as a mentor, create your profile as Teresa did, or you're welcome to go on and use it as well. If you have things that you think, I'd really like to talk to somebody about this, or I'd really like to get some advice on growing my career, whatever it is. You can go into the directory and kind of use keyword searches or look for people in your geographic area, and you can reach out to them, and they've basically already raised their hand and said, yes, reach out to me. I'd be happy to hear from you. So you don't have to feel any kind of way about it. So it's really cool. I love it, and I'm in there. So if you if you need to reach out to me about anything, you'll find my information in there as well. But we hope that you'll join. And then in March, we will also do the MentorNJ Mega Meetup, which I mentioned earlier, which is an opportunity to sort of do like the online meetups, but live and in person. And last year we did free headshots. We had a photographer come in and do headshots for everyone who attended if they wanted them. We did some panel discussions. We did some icebreakers. We had lunch. It's just like a nice day to gather with your colleagues. So that's MentorNJ. And then the newest thing we have, which is very exciting, and I think in particular exciting for library assistants, because I know how hard scheduling can be for you all to kind of come to a lot of this stuff. We have launched the Learning Space, which is an on-demand training portal. So our thinking was sort of that everything has moved online, right? Or a lot of things have moved online, and we know, just like this, we're doing a recording, and a recording is great for someone to be able to go back and watch, but it's not the same as kind of being there in person, right? And engaging in person and getting to ask your questions. And so we decided what we would do is start creating training and professional development that's designed to be watched asynchronously on your own independently, so that we're being very mindful when we create it of including a lot of breaks, including a lot of activities. There's additional supplemental materials. There's sort of short segments that you can watch and on your own time, right? So, maybe you only have 15 minutes to complete a course. So you can watch it in little segments. It's really cool. And if we have time at the end, I can show you guys what it looks like. But this is sort of the newest thing that we've launched. There are a couple of sessions already up there, trainings already up there, but we're going to be adding a lot more. And in particular, we'd be happy to hear any feedback from you all about topics that you'd like to see in something like that. And, we know some of our membership who have a harder time scheduling, either because they're part-time or because their hours, do not overlap with when we're hosting things and stuff like that. We have this kind of same issue with school librarians. We'd really like to create some stuff on there that is extra helpful to you all who are maybe going to be using this platform more often. So I will show you that if we have time, but just know that it is up there. It's free to use. We're using Niche Academy. Some of you may or may not have Niche Academy at your own libraries, but you do not need a paid Niche Academy account in order to participate with the learning space. Anyone can log on and view any of the materials completely free of charge. So don't let that stop you from taking a look at it. And then I just want to talk, yep, we're right at about the halfway mark. Perfect. I just want to talk really quickly about a few of the things we have coming up that I thought might be of use to some of you, or that you might be especially interested in. So coming up in September, this is our big sort of conference style event that we do every year. This is our third one. We do a one-day virtual conference. So everything's online via Zoom, completely free of charge. It is a full day conference event. This year, there will be 5 different time slots, and in each time slot, there are 3 presentations to choose from. This year's theme is literacy, and it's literacy of all types. So it's not just information literacy or, teaching kids to read. We have information about health literacy. We have someone coming in to talk about copyright, all different kinds of things. Teresa, I saw your hand go up. Did you have a question?
So I was just wondering about that because I saw that it was when I had a story time in the morning. Can you register and like not go to the morning session and just go to one of the sessions in the afternoon?
Yes, absolutely. When you register, we'll send, well, not when you register, because I haven't made it yet. But before the conference, everyone who's registered will get what is essentially a conference program. And the program will contain the Zoom links for each separate session. So you don't have to register for any specific session ahead of time. You'll get all the Zoom links. And if you miss, you miss the morning session and you want to jump in after lunch, that's fine. You'll have the links to be able to just pop in and out, as you see fit, because we know not everyone
And is
has.
it recorded at all? Like if there was something you did want to say in the morning?
We are leaving it up to each presenter whether or not they're comfortable having it recorded. So in an ideal world, everything would be recorded, and it seems like that's the direction we're going in. I'm waiting to hear back from a couple of folks about whether they're okay with having their session recorded. But I would say most of it will be recorded, and then it will be available probably in that learning space that's linked on our website to view. Yeah. So definitely register. No reason not to. Nothing to lose. Yeah, and this is one of my favorite events that we do throughout the year is the virtual conference, because it really is an opportunity for us to bring in folks. We have a lot of folks presenting from New Jersey, but we also have presenters coming in nationwide to do this, to bring you sessions. And so what a great opportunity, completely free of charge, to hear some of these kinds of national presenters. One of them even is a presentation that I found at ALA that they're coming and repeating for us. So, no, you didn't have to pay the cost to go to ALA, right? You can still see it at this conference, which is pretty cool. So we're excited about that. Registration is open for that now up on our website if you want to sign up. And the registration for that is actually via Zoom. So even if you don't have a LibraryLink account yet, you can just still go on and click the registration button, and it's via Zoom. So you just have to fill in your information. You don't need an account. You don't need to be logged into our website in order to participate in that. Signing basics, which we already talked about. So that is also coming up. So the October dates for this are the 10th, 17th, and 24th. I should have put the times on here. It's in the morning. I want to say it's from 10 to 11:30. I'm almost positive. And you do have to agree to attend all 3 sessions, because as we said, they only take 15 folks and they do build each session. And so we want to make sure that, the people who are signing up are really committing to do the thing. But if you're able to commit to do it, it is virtual, it is online, and it is free. And you guys have the inside info now. Registration is going to open September 6th. So if you want to do it, log on that morning and get yourself signed up and be one of the 15. If not, we do have other sessions. I think the next one will be in January or February, but we do have other sessions scheduled throughout the year. So this won't be the last chance. And then mental health first aid training, which is a great opportunity. This is another one where, completely free of charge, but it is a certificated, nationally recognized program. So if you take the online mental health first aid training, you will come out of it with a nationally recognized certificate, sort of like a first aid training, Red Cross training. It's very similar, but this is for mental health emergencies. So essentially, we're all working with the public in some capacity, right? So if you have a mental health emergency, the same way you might have a health emergency in your library, right? And you would need to know how to respond with CPR or those kinds of appropriate measures. This training is for how do you safely and appropriately respond if someone has a mental health crisis in your library. There is training for how to respond to adults. That's the September 21st training, and I do believe there are still spaces available for that. And then there's also a training for how to respond to youth, because that's obviously slightly different. That one is October 19th, and registration for that is open now, and I think there's lots of spaces. We just opened registration for that, so there should be lots of space. This one is limited to 25 individuals, again, online, free of charge. There is a little bit of pre-course work because it is nationally certified. So once you sign up, Hackensack Health, who runs this training, right? It's mental health professionals who do the training, not us. They will reach out to you with essentially a link to do, it's like an hour of stuff you have to watch before the training day. But it is a really good, it's not all day, but it's most of the day. I think it's 9 to 1:30. And there's a lunch break in there. But it is most of the day. So you do have to be able to kind of clear your schedule. And they ask that, because of the nature of the training, they do ask that people be in you can't do it from the desk, essentially, right? They want you to be in a private space. You need to be able to unmute and talk and engage, just because of the nature of it. So, but worth it if you can get the time off. And then the certification, I believe, is good for like 2 or 3 years. So something good to have, I think. And I know many of us probably could benefit working with the public or with youth in our libraries. This is something that it's probably useful to have. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of MentorNJ online meetups scheduled. So most of these meetups do meet once a month. So disabled library staff is a new meetup for us. For library staff who, well, it's for anyone can go to it. But it is being run by library staff who have disabilities. So a place to gather and kind of talk about that. That will be September 5th. And then these other ones are all returning meetups that we had last year. So Latino library staff, Adventures in Administration, they meet twice a month, actually. And that's for anyone who has any kind of administrative role in your library. If you have questions, staffing questions, building maintenance questions, all those kinds of things, they get together and talk about that. Asian Pacific Islander meetup. Juggling parenting and library work is especially close to my heart. I always make sure I go to that one. That's for people who are working parents. And then there's a school libraries meetup. There's a tech group. Youth services will be meeting again this year. And leading lean libraries is for people who work, either manage or work in teeny tiny itty bitty libraries. So sort of the unique challenges that folks are facing. And then we also have one more new meetup coming in October. We'll have Wellness Wednesday, which is sort of an opportunity to get together and talk about self-care, to do some like mindfulness stuff. I'm not running it, so I don't know exactly what they have planned, but it sounds like it will be nice. And that will be the first Wednesday of every month starting in October. So you can keep an eye on our calendar. The way the meetups work is, because we don't want folks to have to worry about registering and things like that, it's really just a drop in if you have time. We send out the Zoom links for all the meetups every Monday for any meetup that's happening that week. So on Monday morning, you should get an email from us if you're on our email list that contains all the Zoom links for any meetups happening that week. And then you can just jump in if you want to. You don't have to tell us you're coming. You don't have to stay the whole time. They're an hour long, and a really good opportunity to just get together and talk and make connections, especially for those of us who are doing a lot of things, sort of virtually and isolated and stuff like that. So I highly recommend trying to check them out if you can. And I should say too, should go back to that slide. I should say that if there are meetup topics that you want to see, please let us know. And we would be happy to have, a new meetup topic. Because that is how, when is the wellness meetup is starting the first Wednesday in October. So I want to say that's like the 6th of October, maybe it's around then. And I should know, I should have prepared. I should have had the time. I can't remember what time they're meeting, but it is on our website. It's on our calendar. So we can go look at it in a minute if we want to. And it's 1 hour long. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Does anyone have any particular questions for me?
Darby, before we go into the questions, I think just for people's safety, and I'm going to stop the recording.
Sure. Yep.
Thank you so much for this wonderful
Oh, you
presentation.
know what? Before you stop the recording, I'm sorry, just in case anybody who's watching the recording, this is our contact info. So this first one is me. just darby@librarylinknj.org, and my phone number is there as well. But if you're having an issue with your account, you can reach out to my colleague Misoon. She's listed there, or Stephanie or John, who I talked about earlier. So I just want to have that up on the screen, Deborah, for the people who are watching the recording in case they want to get in touch with us. And now I agree with you. We can.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
And to those of you who are watching this recorded, thank you for your interest in this program and in the NJALA, which is a wonderful organization. And if you aren't involved with it, look into it. Our website is njala.org, and we run a conference every year and do lots of programming like this geared toward library assistance.